Yeah, y'all gonna stop coming in my live talking about this Victor dude, bro. We hooping this year. Y'all gonna see.
Alright team, today was De'Aaron Fox's first game and let me say he did not disappoint. So the Spurs hold on in a thriller. They win 126 to 125 against the Atlanta Hawks in a game where, in my opinion, it shouldn't have been this close. In the third quarter, they really let their foot off the gas pedal, but you can expect perfection from their first game. There is going to be a gelling period and there are going to be some rough stretches, although in this game there were some really good stretches that showed flashes of what the Spurs could possibly be. There is still a lot of things that the Spurs can work on, but this was a good win and a good sign for their first game. So looking into the stats, you see Devin Vassell had a nice game with 20 points. I think everyone really had a good, solid scoring game. I think most of the issues came on the defensive end, especially in the third quarter. Giving up way too many threes let the Hawks heat up and really kept them in this game, which it could have easily gone the other way and the Hawks could have won this game. I'm just happy we held on to it. But as I said, Vassell 20 points. He's still struggling from three-point range, but he looked way better. I think having De'Aaron Fox really opens up his game and puts less on Devin Vassell's plate, which I think he's a better player whenever he has less responsibility, as he should be. Harrison Barnes with a solid game, 13 points. Wemby with 24 and 12. Now, this wasn't his best game in my opinion. He did look a little sick still. I don't know if he's still battling that sickness, but he did look really tired out there and he didn't look as impactful on the defensive end. Now on offense, he got some easy looks, wasn't really settling too much, really got down low, and also having De'Aaron Fox help create some easy looks for Wemby because the defense can't be hyper fixated on Victor Wembanyama, so you kind of stretch the defense out, and that gave him some more easy looks. De'Aaron Fox looked really good out there. Now, I didn't even realize he shot 2 for 7 from 3. It didn't look like he shot that bad, but I think he made it up with his 2-point efficiency. When he got into that mid-range or when he got down low in the paint, he looked silky smooth and he was converting at a pretty high rate. As you can see, he had 24 and he also did a lot of playmaking with 13 assists. I know I said that he opens up the floor for Wemby, but I really think he just opens up the floor for everyone on the team. I also mentioned it with Devin Vassell taking a lot off his plate, but I think we saw it a lot with Sochan, kind of coming off that pick and roll. Sochan as a roller, we already know that he's pretty elite at what he does, and so having a threat like De'Aaron Fox ball handling, one of the things I said earlier on in the season was we didn't have enough threats on ball. Devin Vassell hasn't really been living up to that this season. Chris Paul, although he's a good pick and roll player, he just doesn't have the explosiveness or athleticism at age 40 to be an elite scorer. Stephon Castle, as good as he can be, he's still a rookie, so inconsistency is kind of a thing with him, and you can kind of see that in his field goal percentage and turnovers down here. He's going to make some rookie mistakes, but I think he shows real flashes. We saw those dunks he threw down, a contact dunk over, was it the Matthews dude? I'm not too sure who he dunked on. But then he also did the windmill, and so I'm seeing a lot of good things that I like from a lot of these players. Keldon Johnson and Champagnie didn't have their best game. As you can see, Champagnie only shot 2 for 6, 1 from 3 from three-point range. Keldon Johnson 1 from 4 from the field in 15 minutes. I even saw him get subbed out for Stephon Castle whenever he got backdoored and kind of gave up the foul in the and one. Mitch looked pretty angry then, and he called for Stephon to go sub him out. But all in all, I think the Spurs played a really good game, and this is going to be a game to build off of. I think they showed a lot of good flashes, and so this dynamic duo, or the big three, if you will, I don't know if Devin Vassell could play consistent like this, but if he can, it's going to be a scary team. Well, it's already a scary team as it is, just with De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama, but if these role players can consistently show up, then that just makes this team that much more dangerous. Alright team, I got a different shirt on because this is a new segment. I had to record it in another day, but we're going to tune into this De'Aaron Fox post-game interview. Another thing before we get into this, I just said that Champagnie had a bad game, but I was looking over it as I was editing the first half of the video, and I saw that he had 5 steals, and so I guess he was pretty good defensively. I mean, if you have 5 steals, you're doing something right, so I guess he didn't have an entirely terrible game. I was just looking at his field goal percentage. He didn't really stand out while I was watching the game, but I guess he did leave his impact, so I'll give him credit there. But without wasting too much time, let's go ahead and tune into this interview and see what De'Aaron has to say.
Just take us through that last pass to Wemby, setting him up for the free throws.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say we walked through the play, but we haven't walked through it. It was a great drawn-up play, and I've told those guys, like, regardless of how well I'm playing in a game, I draw attention, and that's what happened. They put 2 on me, rather if it's a miscommunication or that's what they wanted to do, and he rolled and tried to finish on, got fouled. It's funny because I told him in the time I was gonna tell you better not kick that ball out. Like we live or die by what you decide to do, but we definitely live or die by you taking that shot. So you go to the basket strong, you get rewarded. And he would have knocked down 2 free throws if we didn't agree on missing that last one. But I mean that's a big time free throw. And
That play that Mitch drew up, I don't know if Mitch drew it up, but I'm going to give him credit. That was a pretty good play, using the pick and roll and using De'Aaron Fox as kind of like a decoy to get Wemby set up. Before the trade, Wemby wouldn't have that luxury. He'd have the whole defense just focused on him in the last shot. And you saw many of times before this trade where the Spurs would have the last shot and they couldn't even get a shot off because they just collapsed on Wemby and the whole play fell apart. I'm going to give Mitch his credit there, but there are still some things that really bother me with Mitch. Like on the Spurs' last defensive possession where Trae Young got the floater, I don't know why Stephon Castle wasn't in the game. I mean, I could see why. Maybe he commits a foul and gives up an and-one with a rookie mistake or something. But personally, I feel like Castle could have guarded Trae Young a little bit better. But I could see why Mitch went with the experience. But those are just some of the things I see. And he's still making some mistakes as head coach.
I won us the game.
Was that Chris's suggestion to miss that second?
Oh, I think him and Mitch may have talked about it, but then Chris came up to me and asked me, and I was like, I don't really think it matters if he makes, because if he makes it now, they get to do whatever play that they drew up because they had no more timeouts. So we agreed on going for a miss, and because regardless, like if they make that shot, they win the game. Yeah. Like if we're up 1 or 2. So it was a collective group to agree on it, and it worked out for us.
You guys, the guards, you, Steph, and Chris, you guys started really fast. I mean, I think you scored or assisted on 32 of the 35 points in the first quarter. Is that something that's important to sort of get the whole team going early?
1,000%, man. And I mean, when I came in, everybody told me to be in. I mean, to be myself, not to come in and just try to fit in. But the way that I play, I feel like I'm unselfish. I feel like I've always been in position to where I had to score a lot of points. And when you have a lot of guys like that, and man, obviously Steph is continuing to learn, and Dev has had big games as well. But when you have guys that are able to get downhill, create their own shot, and also create for others, it makes the game so much easier. And then all of us are athletic, long we're able to get to the rim, and like I said, man, that's why I think that this group could be special.
So I know there has been some things about De'Aaron Fox's playmaking. They say he's not the greatest playmaker, but I think he's going to get a chance to show that he's a real good playmaker. I think people forget that when DeMar came over here, he wasn't known to get assists or nothing. He was just a pure scorer. And when he came to the Spurs, although a majority of it was Pop pushing him, I think some of those same principles that Pop would want are still going to be enforced, although he may not be coaching right now. But I think De'Aaron Fox is going to take kind of like a little leap as a playmaker. I don't think he's going to be Trae Young or anything, but I think he's going to start getting a lot of credit for his passing. But even at that, the Spurs play positionless basketball, so they're never going to be like a pure point guard on the court. You know what I'm saying? You have Stephon Castle, you have Devin Vassell, you have De'Aaron Fox, and although De'Aaron Fox might be the main ball handler, I think you are going to get playmaking from everyone on the team, Wemby included.
Any first impressions of playing next to Wembanyama?
Yeah, man. He's the rules are different. Like all teams have defensive rules, and I'm going through our personnel stuff and like all the schemes, and something comes up and I'm like, I've never heard this terminology before, and I'm watching it and like he's special. Like just the type of attention that he commands on the defensive end allows you to do things that you normally wouldn't do. So that's why I think this group can do a lot of things, and I think Devin and Ju had 9 steals together. Like if y'all are continuing to be that active, it makes us that much better, especially because even if you do gamble, you have somebody like Vic behind you, so it kind of gives you that peace of mind. But what we did in the first half is what you have to try to replicate for as many quarters as you possibly can. And that third quarter was really bad for us. But I told them, like, we gave up the lead, or no, we didn't give up the lead. We were up 18, but they never took the lead. So. And then they told me it's actually when it happened, they're like, yo, that's been our problem. Like, we've had bad third quarter, so we have to figure out a way to fix that.
You could just tell De'Aaron Fox is so happy to be a Spur. He's been smiling this whole time. Anytime he's been talking on the Spurs platform or speaking about the Spurs in general, he's been cheesing. And I've heard this isn't how he was in Sacramento, so he definitely wanted to change the scenery, and I'm happy it's here. Also, this wasn't even Wemby's best defensive game. As I said, he looked pretty gassed. He looked pretty tired. I think he still has the sickness or whatever, but it clearly affected him. And so whenever Wemby gets to 100% and he shows his true defensive ability, I think it's going to be scary, because De'Aaron Fox, he impressed me with his quick hands as well. And I think you have to credit him for some of those steals you saw. I know Champagnie and Vassell just combined for 9, like he said, but a lot of that started with De'Aaron Fox getting up and personal and Trae Young and in passing lanes. And so I was pretty impressed with De'Aaron Fox on the defensive end as well. He uses his speed to be effective all around.
Did you hurt your hand early on the dunk?
No, I hit I have been playing with something on my thumb. Like, you don't even see it. My thumb's swollen right now.
Okay.
But it is what it is, man. I play through those things, and I go out there and I just try to help my team win.
You just came off a long road trip.
I heard he was playing on a broken finger. Is that true? If that's true and he's still playing like this, because having a broken finger, I can only imagine you trying to shoot the ball, you try to go dunk or something. You feel that every time. So him playing through this is a testament to how tough he is. I don't know if that's true, but can y'all confirm that?
And now you're on the rodeo, the infamous rodeo.
I'd never heard of that. I never heard of that. Like, I was on the last day of a 13-day road trip.
Right.
On the last day. Got traded. We look at the schedule, and I'm like, what is going on? And HB texts me, he's like, well, we're going to be on the road for the next month. So, but I think, especially coming to a new team, I actually think that that's a little bit better because all you have is each other. So you're able to go out to dinner, really be together. You see each other pretty much every day on the road. So I think it helps build that chemistry a lot quicker.
He kind of talks like Harrison Barnes. Do y'all get that, or is it just me? I don't know. Like, he raises his eyebrows too whenever he talks. Like, look at how he imitates Harrison Barnes.
And HB texts me, he's like, well, we're going to be on the road for the next month. So
doesn't that sound like Harrison Barnes? They kind of talk similar. I don't know if it's just me. That's the end of the interview. Just a couple things. I like De'Aaron Fox's leadership, how he mentioned he didn't want Wemby to pass out that ball on the last dunk. He wanted Wemby to go up strong with it, which led to the foul. So it was a seamless fit, although there is room to grow. I think De'Aaron Fox showed that he could blend in well with this team, and overall this was a great game. I can't wait for tomorrow's game so we can watch our glorious point guard play again. But that's all I really got for y'all, man. Until next time, I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.